attendees who are present and discuss the Pro view. But you're saying, Greg, we're in the light view. I know, but you want to see the inaugural transition or toggle over to the Pro view. So from your light view, where you've been logging into most likely, top right corner, top third of the page, top right corner, Transaction Desk Pro. Simply click on the Pro icon to be logged into the Pro view. It's a little different, but tabs are the same. We're going to see some consistencies between the two views, obviously, but additional features as well. So let's take a moment just to talk about this page. What we're going to focus on, we're going to look at this page and talk about links and access. But majoritively, we're going to access a transaction file that we created in Light, and we're going to see all the different additional services that you can manage within the ProView file. Then we're going to look at the Settings tab, and we're going to talk about the DocBox print driver, and we're going to talk about DocBox to go mobile. So those are the elements of what we're going to look at today. If you want to look at some additional features, let me know through the chat section of the GoToTraining sidebar, and we'll see if we can't fold in additional features as well. But I think we're going to cover a ton of it just looking at the additional services in a transaction file. But first things first, the home. That's where we are right now. The top center of the screen, home, that's the view, the home tab. Navigational, right? Pure navigation. Where do you want to go? What would you like to do? Start a file, work with a transaction, forms, DocBox, so kind of navigation view. Desktop, a little different view now. Home tab, or excuse me, desktop tab within the Pro view gives you a little different visibility into your online account. Gives you a lot more action items. What's going on? What tasks do you have upcoming? Tasks, new feature of the Pro view, workflow, but your transactions, your documents that you have added to this transaction file. So pardon me for a second, got a little happy with the mouse there, but the desktop view. And we'll even see as we go forward, Settings tab, just moving left to right at the top third of the screen, clicking on the different tabs. Again, desktop is just a view to navigate to those particular activities within your online account, calendars, documents, tasks, and transaction files. Settings tab, the next tab from left to right, is where you can create a lot of the content, or all really of the content for your online account. We've talked about templates before if you've within the Light view, and the ones we created, we'll see they are available. But we can group together forms that are quick start groups, and we can group together tasks and call them activity plans. This is where you can upload your branding, photos, and logos, and set preferences for your landing pages or your font settings, or to install the DocBox print driver. So we're definitely going to come back to this Settings tab. We'll be looking majoritively at the My Preferences section when we come in through here, but the other features are just as valuable, and then we'll talk to them more in detail as we go forward, probably the last third of the session. Next tab, moving left to right across the tab, a calculator. There is an amortization calculator. Now, nothing too fancy about an amortization calculator. It will show the entire schedule. If you check the box, it will show you that entire payment schedule. But what I like about ours, a lot of times your buyer knows the payment that they're comfortable with, and you know how many payments they're going to need to make in a 30-year with 12 payments a year, and an interest rate that they would most likely qualify for. What we don't know, potentially, is how much they could borrow at that. So our calculator will actually do that in reverse. So if I click here on Calculate, it's going to tell me the maximum principal at 4% interest, 12-year loan, $2,500 a month payment. So I can do it in reverse. Nice little feature, and it is payment by payment, shown out to the recipient. Last tab, left to right, is Help. Help is tutorial-based. It is screenshots. It is Captivate videos. It is instructions on how to complete the specific actions within Transaction Desk. It's also access to our live support, our tech chat, our tech support hotline for internet-related issues. So those are the tabs across the top of the Pro view. You can see there's the toggle back to Light. If you're ready to go back to Light already, you can click back at any time and re-access the Light view account. That's really just a view. It's not even an account. It's just access the Light view. Recalibrating back to the left-hand column of the screen there, top third of the page, left-hand side, calendar. You can set your calendar. I'm just going to, just quickly click so you can see it. So you can see it now as the first time rather than on your own. You can create calendars. You can manage your calendar online. If you're not using a calendar already, this is a suitable calendar for generating appointments, sending yourself reminders that appointments are coming due. You can share your calendar with other members of your real estate office through sharing features. I would like 2 phrases. Essential phrases with drop-down options. These menus, I cannot continue to stress the importance of clicking on these menus, seeing the features and options available to you within your transaction desk account. Doesn't matter what view you're in, what service you're using, you're going to see that phrase. Accompany that phrase is always these drop-down menus. So consistencies within the Lite and Pro, those I would like to's. So let's just click on one, the day. Just click on the numeric value. Then you can go and set an appointment. You can set times and dates, locations, reminders to remind yourself that that listing appointment is coming up tomorrow or next week. Available parties, people that you share with, your business partner, your team members, you can add them in on the appointment. You can notify them immediately. You can set it if it's a recurring feature. Maybe every Monday you want to call your seller at 123 Main Street. Set it up, deliver those weekend results. But create appointments, canceling out, creating appointments, open houses, listing appointments, showing appointments. Really think of it, because and I'm trying to set the stage here as the calendar of appointments is different than the list of tasks. That's the next link, moving left or right. Just going to quickly click on these, give you a visual, and then we're going to get to transactions. We're going to look at all these features and how they work within a transaction file. So we haven't created any tasks yet. We hadn't gotten over to the Pro view. But again, phrase, I would love to. And when you have nothing on the page, in that functional page of tasks, I still have two options. Adding a general task or adding a task to an open transaction. Task management, to-do lists, those office checklists, making sure that you are completing the workflow that is required, those minimum customer service requirements, the create MLS listing, put yard sign, create flyer, post photos. All of those are tasks. Those are the things that you want to accomplish throughout any given day, week, or for a particular client. Workflow management within the Pro view. Contacts. Click on the Contacts link. Contacts within your transaction desk account. These are the contacts that I've added in over the demonstrations that we've done. I would like to phrase, so we are in the Contacts functional page. Our options, what we would like to do is add a contact, import, export utility, integration with Microsoft Outlook. It runs a little bit of a utility, a little software utility. So just make sure you go through those steps to link your Outlook account to your transaction desk account. And you can pick and choose which contacts you would like to import from Outlook or export from Transaction Desk to Outlook. So right now, Outlook is the primary source for that. We will, in future enhancements, look to add other contact databases. But as you add your contacts to your transaction file, save them to this database, come back at any time, add, edit, update, take appropriate steps with those contacts. DocBox. DocBox is the underlying storage and faxing, unlimited online document management, and toll-free faxing services. So this is where that document management really takes place. And we can see, I can spend too much time here because we're really going to focus on documents within a transaction. But each functional unit, DocBox, its own functional unit, these are the features and options. Again, there's the phrase, I would like to. A lot of features for creating cover sheets or new folders. email or faxing outbound from your DocBox outbound to recipients to deliver disclosures, or making those cooperating agents documents available to them. Merging documents together. So if you have a couple PDFs that you would like to merge into one, opportunity to merge documents. Package them is similar. You put them all into a PDF wrapper, kind of like a PDF grocery bag. They're not merged. They're just packaged into a PDF grocery bag, if you will. The recipient opens the bag, the PDF grocery bag, and opens each individual document that you put in there. Also uploading, so ability to upload right to your DocBox. DocBox is a standalone functional unit. It is also featured within transaction files. And that's what we can see here. Behind that, you can see the files that we've generated, the documents that we have attached, signed, ratified, authenticated documents within our DocBox. So transaction folders, at the very bottom, just want to point out my folders, because you can generate personal folders or non-transaction folders, if you will, if you just want to have that option as well. DocBox is a very robust, standalone functional unit. We'll see that most of these features are also available in transaction files, but you can work with some additional features within DocBox. Instant Fax is a faxing service. It is fax to email, where you start off with paper pages and Instant Fax cover sheet, and you can feed that fax machine your paper, deliver a PDF document to an email address. So when you are creating your Instant Fax cover sheet, you designate email recipients. Email recipients, carbon copy, blind copy. By definition, you're also going to copy one to yourself. Subject line of the outbound email. Message. Number of pages, approximately. You want to get as close as you can, but it doesn't have to be exact. Are you expecting anything back? Include that fax back cover sheet. You are creating an Instant Fax cover sheet that will provide a fax to email service. So you use this as the cover sheet. Once you print it out, you use it as the cover sheet. You dial the toll-free number. The receiving fax reads the barcode, converts your paper fax to PDF, delivers to the email recipients identified on the cover sheet. So that's the Instant Fax cover sheet. There's another cover sheet here I've been kind of hiding a little bit, but we call it the Intelligent Offline cover sheet, because you can use this one. I think this is predominantly for yourself as you're trying to, if you have a nice fax machine, if you prefer the fax, you can create a cover sheet that will designate up to 4 documents as you fax them in. So if you were at a listing appointment and got ink signatures on paper pages, right? You sat down at the kitchen table and you got signed listing agreement, seller's disclosure. They happen to have a copy of the survey and some utility information. So you have 4 different documents. So when you go back to the home office, you want to submit them in one shot and one fax, but receive 4 separate documents. And that's what this Intelligent Offline cover sheet will allow you to do. As you go through the process of creating this cover sheet, you are going to designate document 1 is the listing agreement. It's pages 1 through 5. And the seller's disclosure is document 2, and it's pages 6 through 10. And the survey is document 3, and it's page 11, and so forth. So you can, as you send that inbound fax, the barcode is read, and the documents are separated at those intervals. So nice feature if faxing services to multiple received PDFs. So it's in the Instant Fax link to send one outbound Instant Fax document to an email recipient, or I really think this is more for when you're faxing back to your online account. Receive up to 4 distinct documents. Instant Forms is the library view of the Pro view. I'll just click on it so you can see it. Access to the individual form, library view, one form at a time to print a blank form, type up, or then print a blank. But again, consistencies. I would like to drop down menus. What would you like to do? Functional page of Instant Forms. Options within that page to print, email, fax, create, generate one form at a time when those immediate instances maybe require it. Forms library. A lot of good help though here too. You can see on the top right-hand side of the screen, links to our help for to complete those specific actions. Providers. The Pro View allows you to set up providers. I'm going to click here in the middle third left-hand side to manage service providers. Clicking there. So if you routinely work with a home inspector, or you routinely work with a home stager, or somebody of that effect, you can create the provider. And I'm actually going to go ahead and I think I'm going to add one in here so we can also see it in the transaction. Because it becomes transaction specific. You add the provider, just give them a quick name and we'll call them Joe and Jack Inspector. Whoops. And this is really where you can, hopefully you can start really seeing how much of your transaction file you can manage through your online transaction file. All of these services to submit service requests, to work address. This would also have the tabs. You want to be mindful of the tabs at the top where you just filled out some general information. Work address, if you want to add some additional, if you ever want to fax them requests, you want to add your fax number in there, so that becomes an option to be able to fax them that work order request, that home stage, that inspection, any additional information. Obviously you'd want to fill out maybe some company, cell phone. Create a service provider. So instead of calling them on a whim, you're actually going to be submitting, let's save that provider, submitting a service request to them as you go through that sale process. Right from your transactions. That's the next link, clicking on transactions. Because transactions, again, this really brings together all of the features of your transaction desk account. Forms, documents, tasks, contacts. All of those elements are brought into one transaction file. So functional page of transaction. We can access any of our files, the ones that we've created in the light view, here and available. I would like to menu. To talk about being able to now give your files statuses, status types, active, pending, closed. You can generate your own status types. So if you have unique ones for your files or your process, you can create these statuses to allow your transaction file to mimic or mirror your sale phase. So access to those existing files, opportunities to create new files. We'll look at right now. We'll look at creating a new one here in a few minutes, but for now let's just take a look at what came over. What came over from the light, so you can kind of see the features that we inherently in both views, Light and Pro. Address, documents, forms, contacts, tasks is that new element available only in Pro. Transaction overview is what we're looking at right now. That is the view. I'm in the top left corner, middle third, top left, overview. That's what we're looking at right now, kind of that aerial view of the details and content of our file to this point. And I'm just going to, I was going to grab that MLS number, but I'm just opting not to for now. Just talk to the red bullet points. I call it the dashboard here on the left, for lack of a better word, the dashboard. Now, recalling the light view, there's, 5 tabs: details, contacts, forms, documents, and history. In the Pro view, more features. Yes, there are those similar pages, details, which we call property information here. Property information, address, city, state, zip, list price, purchase price. In the Pro view, property information and dates are separate features, because dates, second red bullet point from the top on the left, dates actually take on an additional function within the Pro view regarding tasks. You can generate due dates for tasks based on your transaction milestone dates. So if you are setting a closing date, you can generate due dates for all of those tasks that are based on that due date. So dates there. separate link, but similar content. History, general information is a new one. So let's click on that one. It's a new one for the Pro View. Gives you a better opportunity to update your transaction name. So as you go through that sale process, you can certainly change the naming feature. But here's where you can also change the status. So you can update that status through general information. Property information, I think, is pretty similar. Call log is another one. Clicking on the call log. Opportunity here to log substantive conversations between yourself and clients or cooperating agents. You can even leave notes or memos or other important features of the file in the Notes tab, or call log tab. And you can just add those features, time and date stamp, descriptions of what process is taking place throughout that sale. Call log. Good place for notes, memos, and descriptions. Contacts, but not only contacts, but also participant access. The Pro View now really starts allowing you to open up your file to third parties, to your agent, or your clients, or cooperating agents, or lenders. Remember, you're adding it as a contact can be granted participant access. Let's click on Jessica. She's our buyer in this example. Clicking on Jessica, middle of the screen there, contact name, Jessica. In the light view, you add them in. You add their name, you add their information, email addresses, and so forth. Same thing here with the Pro View as well. But in the Pro, we have the opportunity to grant our contact access as a participant. Checking that box, now you're creating a participant website. Well, you're not creating it. Transaction Desk is going to create it for you. You are going to create the login name and password. You can have Transaction Desk do it for you. It's just a very strong sequence of alphanumeric characters. So just be mindful. It can be a little intimidating to those not accustomed. But you can allow the auto-generate or login name and password. They are requirements to create this participant website. You can be notified when they log in or for all of their actions. I would certainly caution back to their login. Look out for email notification overload otherwise. Expiration, so if you want to give them access for a day, a week, a month, a year, forever, you decide how long they should have access. And then specifically what features they should have access to. What part of the file should they be able to review, see through this participant website. So I'm just going to choose these few features there. Good enough. And so in terms of those which documents, we'll definitely want to give them the fax back cover sheet so they can print one of those if they're ever going to fax me anything. As more documents come in, perhaps I'll give them access. We'll decide upon the documents. Forms. I can give access to the online forms. Which forms do I want to give them access to? How much access do I want to give them? Do I want to give them fillable access to the online form or just read-only access? You decide how much access you want to give to your participant. Checkboxes, and maybe just my contact information. Specifically decide which features should be available to this contact now participant. Because when I click on the Save Contact Information, bottom right corner, Save Contact Information, it is going to prompt me to enter a PIN number. That would be additional security. We gave it a login name and a password. The PIN, which I left blank, I'm clicking OK to move forward without it. If you add the PIN, it's additional security on top of the email account, so you would need to deliver that in a second correspondence. When Transaction Desk delivers that invitation to participate in the transaction, it will include the link to the website, which is, by the way, branded with your personal photo and company logo. So to your link to your branded website, login name, password. If you generate the PIN number, you deliver that in a secondary communication. So we're starting to open the file up to other participants. Who else should be? Lenders, loan officers, title officers, anybody? That's contacts of participants. Here's service orders. So I did add the one provider in there, but service orders. So you can order that home inspection. You can order that home stage or so forth. You can create your service orders, email, fax, or print and hand the order to your provider. But you have to create, and that's why I walk through the steps to create the provider. Create the provider first, or you'll not have any in here to choose from. So create them first, and then submit orders to them right through your transaction. Authentisigns, digital signatures integrated in the Pro view. When we click on Authentisigns here from our dashboard, we go directly to the link is made automatic. You don't have to create a new signing or choose between a blank or import. When you click here from the Pro view, a new signing is automatically started based on this transaction file. So it's a more direct link to Authentisign rather than clicking the Authentisign link in the top right side of the screen. Top third, top right where it says Authentisign, that kind of logs you into your generic Authentisign to your list of signings and so forth. Here from the dashboard on the left where the mouse is there, if I click here, direct start of a new transaction file based on this transaction. Forms similar to Light. Clicking here, Incident Forms, Light forms that we've added, similar to Light. Clicking the I would like to, maybe a couple more features. I'm not sure. I think the Light View and Pro View are pretty identical into the features within. Although, you know, making copies, PDF copies, exporting to DocBox, I think is an additional feature within the Pro. Once you type up a form, you can export it to your DocBox as a PDF. You know, emailing, faxing services, packaging. Remember, though, print selected forms, and if it's not named, to PDF. I think that is the key that most people miss there, where it says print selected forms to PDF. That's where you can merge individual forms into one PDF document. So it doesn't print to paper. Maybe print should be in quotation marks. So you're not printing, it's to paper. You're printing to PDF. You're generating a merged PDF form packet. All will pick them all. Selected will just pick the ones you selected. So forms are pretty key, pretty similar within the Light and Pro. Always auto-populate, update your forms. Make sure you're getting your details, your dates, your contact information. No matter how small or insignificant you think the changes to your transaction file, auto-populate, update your forms. I would just recommend you just get in the habit of doing it each time that you are working or typing up forms. Excuse my mouse there, it flies around a little bit. Auto-populate, update your forms to get that transaction detail into your forms and contracts. Documents. Clicking on the documents from the dashboard, documents. Documents has a bunch more features. This is one that really does take on a whole new level of indulgence, maybe is a good word, because there's so many features. Anything from broker defined document compliance for reloading signed contracts or required documents to be loaded back in. That's what these little legend keys here, incomplete mandatory document. It's more of a broker office level feature that they can generate document requirements for agents to reload back into their files. But in terms of that, I would like to menu, again, functional page of documents. We're in our transaction file for Jessica Moore, the functional page of documents. What would we like to do within this? What are our options to work with documents within the Jessica Moore file? Upload documents, bringing in, again, any document, not any document, but Word documents, spreadsheets. Image files are probably the biggest one. Image files for photos, for flyers, PDF documents, and certainly Excel spreadsheets and Word documents. So those are all supported. You can upload those documents to your online transaction file. You can add documents from your DocBox. So if you just have in your My folders, perhaps you put in some general office disclosures that are required. They're not forms in the Forms library. They're not fillable forms in the Forms library. They are documents and disclosures that require signatures but have no fillable fields. Uploaded it to, I created a My folder in the DocBox for those, and I can add those documents to my transaction files. So that's what the add feature is, pulling from DocBox to your transaction file. All right, talk me into showing it. Clicking on the Go, I would like to add documents. We're just going to see all the documents that we have stored in our DocBox online document management from any of the files. Any of the files that I have, I can pull a document over. I have one that's maybe generic. These are all my signs. That's my folder I'm in now. So if I had some, I'd pull one over. My folder, so again, if you had generated content, you can pull that content from the DocBox storage into your transaction file. DocBox function within our Jessica Moore file. So is add documents. Anything that's online, completed form, saved document, stored document, email, or fax outbound. And again, remember, you are the sender in name only. When you deliver that outbound document, selecting the document, go. I always say go, it's the arrow, but when you hover your mouse on it, it says go, so that's why I call it the go arrow. You're going to the next functional page. This functional page is the sending page of the outbound email. I'm delivering this document outbound. Do I want to send it as a PDF attachment, or do I want to send it as a link? I'm a fan of the link. PDFs are just, I hate to call them dumb PDFs, but they are. They're attachments to email messages. You get no feedback loop when you send a PDF. When you send a link, the recipient gets your email message, they open it, they click the link, you get notified. You know that they clicked to open that document. It will still be a PDF document they'll be opening. Actually, in this case, they would be opening a JPEG. They'll be opening this online document. Sending them a link gives them a link to your online document. If you send it as an attachment, you're sending it as a PDF. But who am I sending it to? Someone in my contact database. I can select them from here. Otherwise, maybe it's that cooperating agent, co-op agent, and their email. Anyone else to be carboned or blind? Maybe you want to send a blind copy to your client so they know that you sent it. Or in the message, please review and call with questions. Something like that. Anytime you send outbound, whether you're emailing something outbound, whether you're faxing something outbound, you are going to be prompted to include a fax back cover sheet. Do we want to include the cover sheet as a second link? Are we expecting our recipient to open, print, sign, and fax this back to us? Then we would, yes, want to include that cover sheet. If not, if you're just sending something for them to keep, you don't have to include it. But by default, Transaction Desk wants to include that fax back cover sheet so that you can receive documents directly back to your online file using the faxing service. Headers, message within the cover sheet, you're notified by default. You get an email. When this fax comes back to your file, you're notified by email with a PDF copy of the received fax. You can reset any of those, but by default, it wants to notify you. When you click Send Email, bottom right corner, bottom third, bottom right, Send. Link is sent. You are sender in name only. The email address is donotReply@transactiondesk.com. So keep that in mind. Some people might have to search spam. Every email and every recipient has different filters applied to their email inboxes. I've never had trouble, and some folks have different filters or email recipients. So send email, send fax. These are the Documents tab, the Documents function within our Jessica Moore transaction file. Merging documents. Some features here too. Mark selected documents for review. This is part of that broker compliance. If they set up these system features, I think there'll probably be an agent level feature moving forward, but for today it really is set up at the office level if they want to manage their required documents that way. There is an edit markup tool that's available as well, so you can make strikeovers or callouts or highlights or mark up your online documents so you don't have to print to make these changes. If you want to see that, just I have to go back to the document because it only works with PDF documents. So I have a JPEG in here, so I need to convert that JPEG image to a PDF. I certainly can if you're interested in seeing it. Otherwise, just like to now move forward to tasks. Moving forward to tasks, if you do want to see that, let me know through the chat section, and we can look at that, taking steps to use the markup tool. But otherwise, we're going to move on to tasks. So lots of documents. We're not done talking about the DocBox features either. Through the Settings tab, probably the last 15 minutes or so, 12 minutes or so of the session, we're going to go to the Settings, and we're going to look at the DocBox to go. And we're going to look at the DocBox print driver, and we're going to look at those additional DocBox functions within your transaction desk account. But right now, tasks. We're going to speak to the task feature within the Pro View, because this really is one of the additional, I guess the biggest difference between Lite and Pro is a whole additional management feature, tasks, workflow, office checklists, whatever that you have that you want to complete through that sale process, you can add it as an individual task, one-off type of task. Let me just click here so you can see the process. The other two, import plans and import templates, if you remember all the way back to the beginning when we clicked on the Settings tab, you can create plans, which are made up of task templates. So you can generate content for your account, leverage that content, importing it into your transaction files. But you just give your task a name. Whatever the task is, we'll take MLS. Well, this is a buyer prospect. So what would I do? Final walkthrough. Something like that. We want to schedule a final walkthrough prior to closing and funding. It's going to be a task that we want to complete during this sale process. Is there a type? I struggle with types, but if you have a particular type, you can add the content to your account right here by Add Task Type. And you'll see that quite often. You'll see those prompts to add content within your Pro View. If you don't see features that you want within these drop-down menus, a lot of times you're going to see that feature to add a task type. Right on the fly, you can add those features. Pick a particular due date, day and time if you know what it is already, but if you don't, but you just know that it's going to be based on a milestone date within the contract on, before, or after a particular milestone date within the contract, we can set that based on the milestone date. When the closing date was updated to the closing date of this file, our task will receive a due date. So base your tasks on milestone dates within your transaction file. Do you want to be reminded? Of course you do. At least a day before, maybe a week before. But choose the appropriate reminder timeline, 15, an hour a day. Who is going to participate? Myself? I'm probably going to be the one, but what about my participant? Remember, we created participant access, gave them a username and password, selected some features of our file we want to have them have access to. Tasks was one of them. And here's the value. I can grant or assign this task to my buyer. She can help me with it. What will be a good day to schedule? The opportunity is there. Notify when the status has changed, save the task. Now this task, the setup is the same for one task. This one is just an individual task that we just added to our transaction file. one type, and this is the only time we'll be able to use it on this transaction file. That's what these other two, activity plans and templates. Let me just click here on import from task templates, because we do have some system values that you can work with. You can go through and say, yeah, that one sounds pretty good. I want to call my seller every 7 days. There's 70 templates that you can choose from, and these are just, again, one item tasks. They are that specific copy of signed seller's disclosure. Yeah, we're going to need that to present at some point to our client. Some of these are listing, lead paste paint, not yet. Market analysis, yeah, probably provide that to our buyer before we make any offers. So you can go through, you can decide if any of these tasks, there you go, remind your buyer to insurance agency and utility companies, and there's the schedule, the final walkthrough, so that was one in there already. Appointment for loan, things like that, one more. So we select these tasks template from the templates, we can import them into our transaction file. So, but we can select those every time. Anytime we have a new buyer, or we're going through that sale phases, we can grab those templates. We can make up our own, we can grab individuals, or the activity plans are grouped together. There are templates that are grouped together into specific plans. So it's a buyer prospect plan, and there's 8 or 9 task templates associated with that. Or there's the single family listing plan. So there's 23 different plans that each consist of about 8, 9, or 10 task templates. So it's kind of building on each other to be able to add that content to your transaction files, to manage them, to make sure you're being notified when these tasks are coming due. So task management throughout your sale process. So not only yourself, but your participants can be assigned to tasks, as well as anyone that you are sharing with. So I'm going to jump over calendars just for a moment and click here on sharing. Not that I've created a share yet, but you can share your transaction files with other members of your real estate office. And when we get to the settings tab, you'll see where that sharing feature is. Sharing, you set up the share, and then you can manually add that share to whichever files that would be appropriate. Business partners, transaction coordinators, team members, whomever you want to share with, they become available assignees to tasks. And when you open up your file, you are opening up those opportunities for other folks being assigned tasks within your transaction. Calendar appointments kind of look really similar to what we looked at the calendar. Go in, put in your showing dates and things like that. One question that's commonly asked, tasks will not populate your calendar. Tasks, they are separate items. Tasks and calendar appointments are separate items. My hunch is that that's the way Outlook perceives them. Outlook looks at your calendar much differently than your tasks. So Transaction Desk integrating with Outlook thinks of it the same way. They are separate items. Tasks are tasks, appointments are appointments, and the two do not meet. So your upcoming tasks are not populated into your calendar. You will receive email reminders and notifications that they're coming due, but they are not posted to your calendar. You can post other things to your calendar, as we saw before. Click on the day, set your times, and so forth. Get email reminders for those appointments that are due, and so forth. So you can blend the two. You can export tasks to your Outlook as well. So that's another opportunity through tasks. You can export to Outlook, but they are separate features of your transaction file. So that's the transaction file. That is the additional features and services available. I would like to do is spend about 3 minutes to just walk through the steps to start a new one. There are some different ways to do that within the Pro view. So pardon my mouse for a moment. As I click back on transactions, top third, top right, transactions, go back to that main view. So we looked at one. We just saw in addition to the content, but forms editor is exactly the same. So all those similarities we kind of ignored because you've seen it already, and hopefully you're confident with using those features. We've really tried to focus on the differences. So let's do that one more time. I would like to. We're going to go ahead and just crash through creating a new file. I'm going to populate from a template. So again, in the Pro view is a little different than the Light view. Pro view, by default, you're just going to start a new transaction. You can give it a name, type, maybe import from the MLS. What we want to do is switch. What I'm going to do is change to scrolling down the left-hand column, populate from a transaction template. So it just collapses the view a little bit. It's amazing how that throws some people off, but that's all we're doing. We're switching from the new transaction view to the populate from a template view. We are still in the functional page of starting a new file. We still give our file a name. We can pick from the templates that we've created. Is this a buyer? Is this a seller? We'll go with the buyer. Stick with that theme. We can use a wizard here to walk us through the steps of adding detail. The overview screen, that's what we looked at. We saw that a bunch. If we click here, we'll go right to that overview screen. If we use the wizard, which I will, I'm just going to real quickly jump through the wizard, select myself as the agent, and start the transaction, just because I want you to see it. What does the wizard do? It walks us through the elements of our new file. It walks us through adding property details, contacts, and dates, and forms, and documents, and sharing. So it walks us through the opportunity, that first pass to start our file. Again, we'll end up at the overview page, but it gives us a chance to add some known content. Little pop-up. My sense is you'll read it once and you won't need to see it again. Think of it as a paper file. Think of it as a replacement of that paper file. So the things that are important, we can save and exit from this wizard at any time and go right to the overview. We don't have to add anything. There are no required fields from here to the overview. So whatever we have, we're going to drop it in. Otherwise, we're going to skip it and make headway towards that overview page. But I just want you to see it. I'm not going to add any detail. I'm just going to click on the blue buttons, top third, right side of the screen, to go from one functional page, property information, to the next functional page, dates. Add in any dates that you have. Nothing's required. Add it in. It's the dates page of our transaction file. Next functional page is the contacts. I haven't added in my broker. Here's where we would add our buyers, our other, whoever we knew was going to be part of this file at this point. Functional page of contacts. Grant them participant access there as well. Functional step of forms. Here's my forms template. I started from my transaction template. I identified forms. I can add more now. Do I know more I already need? I don't know. I'm just going to click on Next. With all those options there, I would like to add new forms, access the forms library, add additional forms, add any additional documents, upload additional documents, the functional tab of documents. Maybe we have a pre-qualification letter already that we received from the buyer. Otherwise, clicking on Next. Do we want to work with anybody? Do we want to share our file with that business partner, team member, or transaction coordinator? Remember, we have to create the share first, but step to add that share or not. Don't have to. Tasks, same feature. Import your plans, add your templates, create your one-off tasks, save and exit out. But functional page of tasks within our transaction file, exiting from the wizard to our transaction overview page. Here, that is the one time. See it now. It should say, congratulations, your forms have now been populated with your transaction file detail. The one additional bonus of using the wizard, when you're adding that transaction detail, those dates and contacts and details, when you save and exit from the wizard, your forms are automatically auto-populated with that detail. It's the one time it happens automatically. Otherwise, we go through the Instanet forms from the dashboard and auto-populate our forms. All right, now I'd be remiss if I did not mention this very very nice drop-down menu. I would like to. Transaction overview page. I would like to. Import data. Huge feature to import data to your existing file. Light view, you can import to start. Pro view, you can import to start or from your existing. I would like to import data, go, so we can start from a template and then import our MLS ID. Or we can start from the one-click transaction in our MLS and then import a template over it. Let's just use this one, something like that. Because especially with a buyer, and I'm going to import that data. I have a new buyer prospect. They called. We're phone duty. Agency relationships are signed. We're looking at properties. I started my file 2 weeks ago because that's when I got the call and set up the relationship. We didn't identify a property until today. I've had a file going, and I've been uploading MLS pages and flyers at properties that we've looked at to keep that running tally, because in 7 days from now, and when John or Jessica calls me back and says, remember that house we looked at Main Street like 10 days ago? And you're like, oh, man. You take those flyers, you take those MLS sheets, you fax them or scan and upload them back to your DocBox. So when they ask you those questions, you say, yes, I do. And you email them, links to them from your transaction desk DocBox. I would like to, great feature though, import data. When that buyer identifies a property 2 weeks, a month into the search, you can import your property details into your existing file. If the first offer falls through, you can import another property into that existing file, updating for that new offer. So not only this import data is a great feature there, transaction profile sheet, if you kind of want that one-page synopsis of your entire transaction file, or perhaps you come to a meaningful conclusion and not only do you want to have an online copy, an online file, you want to burn one to DVD or CD. Archiving the transaction takes all of your content, history, contacts, documents, forms, and documents are actually embedded in this comprehensive PDF. It takes that whole file, merges it into one comprehensive PDF that you can then burn to CD or save offline for a backup of your backups. Transaction overview page, functional page overview. My options from this page take steps to complete those actions. Transaction files, the Pro view really focused a lot on transactions, everything from all of the different features available to how to start a new file. I'm going to go now. I think we have about 6 or 7 minutes within our hour. I'm going to leave the transactions. Let's go back to the Home tab for a moment, just going top center of the screen, leaving our file, going to Home. Because I just want to bounce over to Settings. We're going to talk about a couple more features. Settings tab, top third, top right, clicking on Settings. Sharing. This is where you can create your share group. Give the share a name, whether it's one person or 5 people. Share a name and then choose the appropriate people to share with. Your business partner, your team members. Share your files with those folks. Here's where you can create the activity plans. We do have follow-up recorded webinars for creating task templates and activity plans, but add in your content or just access the content that's in there already. There's a lot of good task templates and activity plans set up that you can import into your transaction files. Just moving across the bottom, branding, because you certainly want to get your personal photo, company logo added in to your transaction desk account. Brand all of those outbound correspondence for fax, back and Instanet fax cover sheets. So the fax cover sheets are branded with banner logos. Your personal photo for outbound email messages and the participant website. So that's where your personal photo. The banner logo also brands the header of outbound email messages. So branding really does make that outbound correspondence and cover sheet really pop with company logos. Top left corner, My Preferences. Clicking on Continue in the My Preferences, which you want to speak to, the Pro View. These are all the settings that you can manage for your account. First, top of the list, General Settings. That's what we're looking at right now, General Settings. By default, when you log in, you go to that basic home view. You can change that to the desktop view, which kind of gives you more of the activity-based view, right to the Forms library, which I don't suggest, but also the last transaction that you were working on. So you can go right back to that last transaction you were working on by setting that as your login page. So that's General Settings. Decide if there's a better view that you would like to log in first. User information. Just going to look at two of these and then the bottom two, the to-go and the print driver. User information, just confirm what's on file for you, emails and contact information. This is where you can adjust it here, confirm that email. Because the next one, password management, I think that you are maybe interested in this, receiving your unique transaction desk password. And you'll use this password in 3 different occasions. 1, if you log in through our generic transaction desk login page. 2, if you're going to use the DocBox to go or the DocBox print driver, you need this unique password, transaction desk password. Have it emailed to you. You can change it to whatever you would like it to be. You can keep it the way it is, have it sent to you, or you can change it to whatever you would like it to be. It will not affect or change any other password for any of your other accounts. It is unique to these 3 settings, 2 of which we're going to discuss right now. DocBox to go, clicking on that, bottom left, bottom third of the page, bottom left corner. DocBox to go settings is to access your online account from your smartphone. It is really specifically for smartphones. I'll start off with what it does not support. It does not support Forms edit mode. When you access to your smartphone through DocBox to go, the actual website, docbox2go.com, middle third, right-hand side, it is a website. It is not an app. It is a website. You browse to docbox2go.com. You log in using your first name, last name, and your transaction desk password. To access your contacts, your transaction files, your documents, your completed forms, your stored documents, right from your smartphone, right from DocBox to go, get to your transaction files, email or fax those documents outbound to cooperating agents or clients or whoever needs copies. Quick, easy access through your smartphones, iPhones. The copy there's a BlackBerry, but iPhones, BlackBerries, Treos, really at this point, whatever internet-enabled device. If you can browse, you can access your online. So this is through smartphones, docbox2go.com, access, manage, and deliver stored content right from your smartphones. Because remember, it's faxing, you are a name only. It is coming out of your online account. This is the beauty of cloud computing. All you need to do is access it and click, create the command. It's completed, and you're notified upon completion. So that's to go. It is a website, not an app. Browse docbox2go.com. The print driver setting. Clicking on the print driver setting, and I always like to show this one as much as do. And it's always timely here as we come down to come up, I guess, to the top of the hour here. When you install, and that's what this print driver settings, it walks you through the steps to install the DocBox print driver on your computer, on any computer that you would like to. You can install it in multiple locations, anywhere that would be a benefit, so that when you go to File, Print, in any document that you're reviewing, if you click, if it has a File drop-down menu and a Print feature, you'll have the DocBox printer by Instanet Solutions. This printer will allow you to virtually print any document to upload, fax, or email. So I choose that. It's going to pop up the print driver. It is going to ask me to log in. It's going to ask me to log into my account. And I don't know that I have it set up here correctly, but it will log me into my Doc account and give me the features to email, fax, or upload that document right from the print feature. So it's almost a third view into your online account, if you will. Light view, pro view, print driver view, because it gives you those features to email, upload, or fax right from the print. So you actually install it so that from any document that you're reviewing, file, if you can get to a file and print menu, you can access that print driver. If you have internet access, you can upload, fax, or print, right? Or you can do all three at the same time. That's what the value of. Let me slide this over a little bit. I did get a little error. I just need to update it. It's been a little while. So what you'll go through, and that's this information is what is available here. Minimize that, your user key. And there's instructions, PDF documents, how to walk through the steps to install it, just like installing any other printer that you have, your ColorJet printer, your inkjet, your all-in-one. It's the same steps to download. It's going to ask you for this user key, which you can copy. You can copy it, so don't think that you have to remember it other than, right-click to highlight and copy it. Paste it when you're prompted, paste or type in your transaction desk password when you're prompted. It will remember the user key going forward. You have to add it the first time. The print driver will remember the key going forward, but you will just need to type in your transaction desk password. It's a great feature. Install it. Once you start using it, you'll wonder how you ever lived without it. It really is that convenient to manage your documents. But with that said, very mindful of your time. I think we're sliding to the top of the hour as it is, scrolling down to discuss a few features here. Toll-free sales and support. If you're having issues if they are not how do I questions, if there are kind of like what just happened questions, toll-free support, 800-668-8768, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. You can give them a call. If you have how do I questions, always start with the help section of your transaction desk account. The help has step-by-step instructions on how to complete the specific actions. Toll-free support really isn't tooled to walk you through how to set up a new file. That's where the help section in our YouTube.com videos, those 1 to 5 minute how do I's, those are the ones that you want to review for. How do I send a fax? How do I upload a document? How do I install the print driver? Those 1 to 5 minute how do I videos on Instanet webinars. So check those out. There are up to 60-minute overviews, but there are a lot of how do I sessions as well. Here was that generic login page I was speaking to, so you can opt out of logging in through the MLS. You can go right to transactiondesk.com/login, first name, last name, and unique password, and you can log in to that online account. Especially if you're using an iPad or other type of internet device that is maybe not compatible with your MLS account, this is a great place to log in to access your online transaction file. Full-fledged, all features available through that transaction desk, forms editor, everything, transactiondesk.com/login. But with that said, I'm going to be very mindful of your time, very appreciative of the opportunity to present. If you would like to schedule follow-up sessions for your team, your office, they're free. We can tailor them to your specific time and content you would like to cover. And until we webinar again, I hope you have a tremendous, tremendous day.